Whom should I pair with? Temperature of a healthy human body 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Boiling point of water 212 degree Fahrenheit. Room temperature 296 K. Freezing point of water 0 degree Celsius. Who is telling the truth? The temperature of a substance is measured in joules. False. The temperature of a substance is measured in degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit or K. Heat flows from an object at higher temperature to an object at lower temperature. True. Joule is the unit of heat. True. Objects contract on heating. False. Objects expand on heating. Atoms of a solid are free. False. Atoms of a solid are bound to each other due to the forces acting between them. The average kinetic energy of atoms in a hot object is less than the average kinetic energy of atoms in a cold object. False. The average kinetic energy of atoms in a hot object is more than the average kinetic energy of atoms in a cold object. You will find if you search. A thermometer is used to measure dash temperature. The apparatus used to measure heat is called a dash calorimeter. Temperature is the measure of the dash kinetic energy of the atoms in a substance. Average. The heat contained in a substance is the measure of the dash kinetic energy of atoms in the substance. Total. Nishigandha kept a vessel containing all the ingredients for making tea in a solar cooker. Shivani kept a similar vessel on a stove. Whose tea will be ready first and why? Shivani's tea will be ready first. Reason. In a given time, the amount of heat received by the vessel on a stove is far greater than that received by the vessel kept in a solar cooker. Write brief answers. Describe a clinical thermometer. How does it differ from the thermometer used in laboratory? A clinical thermometer has a narrow glass tube which has a bulb at one end. The bulb and part of the tube is filled with the liquid. The rest of the volume of the tube has vacuum and its other end is closed. The bulb is kept in contact with the object whose temperature is to be measured so that its temperature becomes same as that of the object. Because of the increased temperature, the alcohol inside it expands and its level in the tube rises. Using the properties of the expansion of alcohol, the temperature can be obtained from the level of the alcohol. As the body temperature of a healthy person is 37 degrees Celsius, clinical thermometers are designed to measure temperatures between 35 degrees Celsius and 42 degrees Celsius. What is the difference between heat and temperature? What are their units? The atoms in a substance are always in motion. The total kinetic energy of the atoms in a substance is a measure of the heat contained in that substance. Temperature of a substance is related to the average kinetic energy of atoms. If the average kinetic energy of atoms in two objects is equal, then their temperature will also be equal. The unit of heat in SI system is joule, while that in CGS units is calorie. Temperature is measured in units of Celsius, degree Celsius, Fahrenheit, degree Celsius and Kelvin K. Explain the construction of a calorimeter. Draw the necessary figure. This is the diagram of calorimeter. A calorimeter is used to measure the heat content of an object. Using this equipment, we can measure the heat produced or absorbed in a physical or chemical process. A calorimeter has two vessels, an inner and an outer one. This way, no heat can be transferred from the inner to the outer vessel or from the outer to the inner vessel. Thus, the inner vessel is thermally isolated from the surroundings. The inner vessel is made of copper. A thermometer for measuring the temperature and a stirrer for stirring the liquid in the calorimeter are fitted in it. Water at a fixed temperature is placed inside the calorimeter. This means that the temperature of the inner vessel and that of the water in it are the same. When a hot object is placed in water, heat is exchanged between the hot object, water and the calorimeter, and all three reach the same temperature. As the calorimeter is thermally isolated from the surroundings, the total heat lost by the hot object is equal to the total heat absorbed by the calorimeter and water inside it. Explain why rails have gaps at specific distances. This is kept to accommodate the change in the length of the rails with change in temperature. If this gap is not kept, then the rails will get distorted due to expansion in summer, which may lead to accidents. Explain with the help of formulae the expansion coefficients of liquid and gas. Coefficient of expansion for liquids. Liquids do not have definite shape or size, but they have definite volume. Hence, liquids possess volumetric expansion coefficient. Let liquid of initial volume V expands to a volume V when heated. If delta T is the change in temperature, then volume 2 is equal to volume 1 in bracket 1 plus beta delta T. Here beta is volumetric expansion coefficient of the liquid. Coefficient of expansion for gases. Gases do not possess definite shape, size or volume. They occupy the volume of the container. Gases expand on heating when kept in an open container. If the gas is kept in a closed container and heated, then the pressure on the gas increases while the volume remains unchanged. Thus, the expansion of a gas is measured under constant pressure and the expansion coefficient is termed as constant pressure expansion coefficient. If a gas is heated in a beaker with a movable piston attached to the beaker, then pressure remains constant while volume increases. In such a case, volumetric expansion is given as volume 2 is equal to volume 1 in bracket 1 plus beta delta T. Here volume 2 is equal to final volume of the gas, volume 1 is equal to initial volume of the gas, beta is equal to constant pressure expansion coefficient, delta T is equal to change in the temperature. Question number 4. Solve the following examples. Video is already done previously and uploaded in YouTube channel. Can you recall which sources do we get heat from? We get heat from sun, earth, chemicals, electricity, atoms and air. How is heat transferred? Heat is transferred by the processes conduction, convection and radiation. Which effects of heat do you know? The effects of heat on matter are expansion and contraction, change of state. What are potential and kinetic energies? The energy possessed by a body due to its position is called potential energy. The energy possessed by a body due to its motion is called kinetic energy. Use your brain power. Why does your mother put folded cloth strips soaked in cold water on your forehead when you have high fever? During high fever, the body temperature rises. Mother put folded cloth strips soaked in cold water to decrease this high body temperature and to make it normal. Here, the heat is transferred from body to the cold and wet folded cloth, hence reducing the body temperature. Why is the calorimeter made of copper? Copper is a good conductor of heat. When a hot or cold object is placed in water in the calorimeter, heat is exchanged easily between the object, water and the calorimeter, and all three reach the same temperature. Therefore, calorimeter is made of copper.